fans, here we are, episode number 9 of Nick's Who Gives a Crap Football Update, or AKA Nick by the Buffalo. Hey, I want to thank you so much for checking the last week's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I had a ton of fun doing that. I got to show a little bit of my comedic side doing that. It was trick-or-treating with the boys and Patty, that episode. And as you saw, it was Andy Reid. The boys dressed up as Patrick Mahomes, Dixon did, and Peyton dressed up as Peyton Manning, his heroes, obviously. Nolan was Thanos, and then Patty was an official. You guys probably saw those pictures on Facebook. Had a lot of fun doing the video. Had a lot of fun trick-or-treating with the boys as well. It's kind of funny because Dixon dressed up as Patrick Mahomes, and me and Andy Reid, we actually got stopped to take a couple of selfies with other people while we were trick-or-treating. That was kind of funny. Peyton didn't enjoy it very much. He felt like Peyton Manning wasn't getting enough love on the selfie front as we were trick-or-treating, so we were kind of getting a chuckle at that. But anyway, getting back into football. Excited. I got a ton of stuff I want to talk about this week. So let's get kicked right into it. I want to start off talking about the NFL and talking about the game that we saw with the Baltimore Ravens and the New England Patriots. And I want to start off talking about this game because I want to make 2 points about it. The first one being that maybe we're just a little bit afraid because of the history with the New England Patriots. I know I've been this way. I've been afraid to challenge that the Patriots aren't as great as they really appear to be. And let me preface that by saying, I do still think, I've said on this channel many times that I thought New England looked like they were the best team in the AFC. That obviously the AFC doesn't look quite as good, but I think maybe there's going to be not a return to the Super Bowl this year for New England. And this is the reason. I feel like we're scared. A lot of people are scared to challenge it. So this is my hot take today. A couple of hot takes I've got today. I feel like New England has some things that we're not paying attention to. A lot of times we challenge some things about New England, saying they don't have good receiving corps, so on and so forth. But one of the things that there's some things that have kind of been flags to me, and I've noticed them throughout the season, but I think there's something to those. The first one being, everyone knows that Gronkowski retired last year. There were some rumors that he may come back. I guess that still could be possible that he could come back. But there's a weakness there that this team has relied on for multiple seasons. And that's having that tight end that Brady can go to drive that offense down the field, and he can throw to in the red zone. They haven't had that. They're struggling to find that kind of a source. They were looking for a tight end during the trade deadline and didn't pull it off. That's one problem. The other one being is their offensive line. They had a major injury at the center position when the season began. They've taken some hits on their depth through free agency. That offensive line's not very great. It doesn't hold up very well for Tom. That leads to him to be pressured a little bit more. We saw that against the Baltimore Ravens. And another thing is everybody's talked about their schedule. And not as much as I feel like we should have. Dallas Cowboys have been taking their heat for their schedule and saying, oh, well, they're beating the easy teams. Well, we got to say the same thing about New England. New England hasn't played anybody up till they played Baltimore. They really haven't played anybody that gave them much of a challenge. So this past week we saw something a little different there. So I think their schedule is making them look a little inflated as far as how good they really probably are. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong. They still have the best quarterback of all time, and they still have Bill Belichick, probably the greatest coach of all time, or if not in the top 5 for sure. So you take that into consideration. And another reason why Bill has been scrambling all season, before the season and during the season, Bill has been scrambling, Bill Belichick, to find more weapons for this offense. Receivers. They traded for Mohamed Sanu. That'll help a little bit. They already went crazy through to him. They tried to sign Antonio Brown earlier in the year. That didn't work out. They cut Josh Gordon. They're struggling. They're scrambling. And to me, that's telling me that Bill's telling us he's a little afraid that this offense doesn't have what it takes to hold up with Kansas City later on and to hold up with something like maybe a Houston later on. Houston's playing very well as well. So I'm concerned that New England is not quite as good as we think they are and as they have looked in the first part of the season. I look for them to struggle down the stretch and relinquish that title again this year. So just saying that with New England, let's flip over to Baltimore on the other side. I want to talk a little bit about Lamar Jackson. I'm well documented as saying I do not believe the NFL running first quarterback system works. I've never been a fan of it. I was a fan of it when Michael Vick was in the league, and that's the reason I'm not a fan of it now, because Michael Vick wasn't successful ultimately doing that for the long run. And I thought Michael Vick was the most electric player that we've seen at the quarterback position in the history of the league, in my opinion. And Lamar Jackson is very similar to that. Lamar Jackson is a ton of fun to watch. The guy looks like he's on ice skates when he's back there. I mean, he's so smooth. He glides. He's very fun to watch, very electric. But the guy's not a very good passer. And I don't think run-first quarterbacks, they've never had history of success. They've never had a history of being able to win the Super Bowl. And I think we're going to see the same thing here with Lamar Jackson. A lot of people are comparing him to RG3. I think it's more of a comparison to Vince Young. Vince had some mental issues, but Vince, the way he ran, the way he was a dominating player at the collegiate level, I see some comparisons there. And Vincent Young had some success when he first came into the league. Lamar Jackson has just now completed his first season. It's given some teams some pause. It's given them some trouble trying to stop him. However, I just don't think that running quarterback is going to last. He's going to have to be able to throw when he gets down to the Super Bowl or to the playoffs, really, is what he's going to have to be able to throw. Teams are going to take that run away. I watched Michael Vick shred defenses those first few years, but he ran to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and those Tampa Bay Buccaneers every single time shut him down. They shut him down, and he was never able to get to that ultimate prize, get to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. So Lamar Jackson, I think he's done a great job. I think he's doing what he can do with his skill set, but that just run. Eventually, that's going to catch up, and the guy's not going to be able to be successful long-term in the NFL. Great win, however. The lovely Patty will let me know that I'm being too hard on Lamar Jackson, letting the kid not enjoy his week where he beat the New England Patriots before we all start bashing the guy, and I understand. So, good game for Lamar Jackson. He is not the MVP of the NFL. The MVP of the NFL is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is outstanding. The things Russell Wilson is doing right now, if you're not watching him, check him out. The guy is doing things at a next level. He's always been a great quarterback, but he's taken it to the next level this year. He is carrying that Seattle team on his back and single-handedly winning games, and it's amazing what he's doing. So I want to talk about that running quarterback a little bit more and transition us to the college topic that I want to talk about. Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has looked very well the last 2 weeks and won a lot of games. Well, not won a lot of games, sorry, won the last 2 weeks, I should say, but got themselves bowl eligible. As an Oklahoma State fan, excited to continue that streak there. A lot of Oklahoma State fans will feel like this year has been a disappointment. To some extent, I feel like it has been as well, because I don't feel like we should have lost to Texas Tech. I feel like we had a very good chance to beat Baylor as well. So we stubbed our toes in a couple of games. Texas, we had on the rope. So, however, I still feel like this team is going to be an 8-4 team. That was what I picked preseason. I still feel like they're going to finish 8-4. We have Kansas Jayhawks and the West Virginia Mountaineers. Those are 2 winnable games. Kansas is at home. West Virginia is on the road. And then we have OU for Bedlam in Stillwater. OU will stomp Oklahoma State into the ground. But I've got something special planned for that one. So if you're not Oklahoma State fans, I'm going to be able to talk with you a little bit more on some good stuff about Oklahoma State not being so critical. But my point is, I'm satisfied with Oklahoma State all in all on the season. 8-4, I think, is a great year. First year starting quarterback. Some changes on the offensive coordinator was a big change. Change with the offensive line coach. Some things that have just been changed up. Losing Tylan Wallace for the season with his knee being blown out. So there's some challenges. However, Spencer Sanders is who I want to talk about, because on this channel earlier in the year, I talked about seeing some flashes of some things with him that I thought were very exciting. But I've seen a regression with Spencer week by week by week. That guy has regressed as the season's gone on. It's the run-first quarterback. Now, on the collegiate level, the run-first quarterback absolutely works. It's worked for a long time because the level of athletes in the NFL and college is so far different. They're not world-class athletes in the collegiate level. They're collegiate athletes. So a running quarterback is capable of driving a team to success. It's been done time and time again. National championships have been won with a run-first quarterback. Alabama wins not passing the ball very much. You don't have to be able to have a huge aerial attack. That being said, I would still much rather have a Brandon Weeden or Mason Rudolph over Spencer Sanders any day of the week. Spencer Sanders, what I've seen is a guy that struggles to make multiple reads. He sees one read, maybe a second read, but he's not seeing the field. He's not seeing open receivers. He had a good deep ball last week, but I think the success that we're seeing is them pulling back with Spencer and doing more of the Baltimore Raven thing. Let's start running. Let's just run with Spencer and Chuba. Let's just run Spencer because he's not very good at passing. He's not good at reading. He forces turnovers. Chuba is the best running back in college football. Chuba should be in the Heisman Trophy running. I don't care about records. The guy's the best running back in football. He's the best running back I have seen in Stillwater since Barry Sanders. I am not overstating that. The guy is fantastic. He will be in the NFL next season, hopefully not with the Washington Redskins. But that's my 2 cents on Spencer. I think I'd like to see us do a little bit more running with him and a little less passing. The deep ball worked a little bit last week, so maybe let him take some deep shots down the field to keep that defense honest. But the reads, either Gleason needs to figure out something different on the offensive scheme and get him to be able to read better. He's a freshman quarterback. I'm really trying not to beat him up a whole lot, but I have not seen him progress, and that's what's bothered me there. So let's finish up with the Dallas Cowboys. I want to make a comment about Michael Bennett. So when the Dallas Cowboys brought Michael Bennett in, I heard the chirping from the Dallas Cowboy haters about, oh, here's the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones bringing in another criminal. Michael Bennett is not a criminal, first of all. Michael Bennett has been vocal in the past. He's kind of been abrasive. I'll admit I was a little concerned at first when I first heard about it, but then I started breaking it down and thinking about it. The guy is a fantastic talent, and he fits he fits the Dallas Cowboys scheme to a T. So I was excited about that. So Michael Bennett, first game, made a huge impact against the Giants. I see Michael Bennett making that impact all throughout the season and really being a huge turning point for this defense that's already been picking up momentum. And you give us another rusher on that defensive line, I look for the Dallas Cowboy defense to continue to do some very good things. And that, before the season, was what I felt like the Dallas Cowboys needed to take it to the next level, was their defense performance. Remember, I pointed out that I was not happy with the defense in those other games. Still seeing problems with the Jason Garrett-led team a little bit. They struggled in some parts. Thank you to the Black Cat. Shout out to the Black Cat that ran on the field. They were all saying on the broadcast, oh, is this going to be bad luck for Dallas? I'm like, why is it not bad luck for the Giants instead? Maybe it's at the Giants Stadium. It looked like it was bad luck for the Giants, not the Dallas Cowboys. But everybody always rips the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to finish with this point about bringing in troubled players. Jerry brings in troubled players. And I know where that comes from, because I know they brought in the Pac-Man Joneses, and they brought in Greg Hardy's the one that gets brought up all the time. They go back thinking about Michael Irvin. Well, Michael Irvin's kind of a one-off because he was drafted actually by Tom Landry, not drafted when Jerry Jones was running the show. He was drafted before that. So that one's a little off the books. Plus, it was a different time in the NFL. But Greg Hardy, they brought in, and everybody criticized that. They got him on the dirt cheap. And that's what Jerry looks for. Jerry's not in love with criminal players. And I know you haters are all taking this and running. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, he is in favor of bargains. He likes to get a bargain. And when he can see a guy that has the talent of a Pro Bowl player, and maybe they've had an issue that's brought them down, whether it's an injury. That's what he did with Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith's not a criminal. He saw a bargain there. He got a guy with first-level talent later on because he gambled on that blown knee, and it paid off. Greg Hardy, they kept him for, I believe, like 5 or maybe, I don't even know if it was 5 or 6 games, and they cut him because they saw he was not working out. So it was a low-risk, high-reward thing. Low risk, high reward. That's what Jerry likes. Low money investments, easy to get out of the contract, and he'll take a flyer on them. He's done it time and time again. That's what Jerry's a fan of. Those are the reasons those types of players make their way to Dallas, is because they're cheap and they can possibly, if they pay out, will be a huge payout on a low investment. That's what Jerry shoots for. Okay, football fans, let's wrap up the week. Like I said, I want to thank everybody for checking the video out last week. I did pick up some views that I didn't have from the last couple of weeks, but I do appreciate those of you that continue to watch. I hope that you tell others who love football that they want to. I'd like to get some more debates going. So let me know in the comments if there's some stuff that you disagree with. Let me know if there's a topic that you'd like me to cover. In the coming weeks, I may do some polls and see if you guys have some stuff out there that you prefer for me to talk about in the coming weeks. And I want to let you know, if you do like this channel, please click like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. Give me the thumbs down if you think I'm full of crap. And I want you to know, I hope you have a blessed football weekend. Take care.